Hi there, welcome to Facebook Live with Audradot. Glad to see you today. We're going to continue our discussion of winning through excellence in sales. We just yesterday published our second video in the series all about the plan. The plan. So let me put this reminder up here. The plan. There you go. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first video talked about the market, getting your fresh view of the market. Now we're going to put a plan in place to go after certain sales objectives, which we're about to define in the plan. But before I do that, let me do my advertisement that I've been trained to do. And that is, I do urge you to subscribe to the Untitled YouTube channel. We've got not only this playlist, Winning Through Excellence in Sales, we've got many, many others on leadership, on marketing, and how to start a company, and how to get a company financed, and the list goes on. There are about 40 different playlists. The most recent ones are, you'll notice the quality of the video is much better. Hopefully the quality of the presentation is much better too. But come join us. Give me your comments. I'd love to hear from you. But subscribe to the Untitled YouTube channel. So let's get on into this discussion of the plan. And the plan, it comes in 3 P's: process, presence, and not have a plan. The plan, the process, and presence. And we're going to talk about all 3. But let's start with the plan. In the first video in this series, we talked about refreshing your understanding of the market through additional, enlightened, hopefully, market research from lots of sources, the ones you've gone after, but particularly recent sources that are taking into account the issues that face us today with the pandemic, because that's what's affecting your customers. They are totally disrupted. You got to think about this in a couple of ways. One is not only your own company has been disrupted, but a major part of the disruption is because your customers have been disrupted. And you got to understand the impact that it has on them. Just as importantly, their customers are impacted as well, which in turn impacts your customers. You've got to understand what the new dynamics are. All of what you knew about your market and your customers and how they're reacting to all this is up in the air, and you got to get current on it. But once you do, and I suggest you do it quickly if you haven't done it already, once you do, then you reestablish an effective and what you think is achievable set of objectives, sales objectives for your company. And those objectives, like sales objectives usually is number of customers and the amount of revenue that you're going to bring in over a period of time. So establish your objectives in light of your new news about your customers. For example, I suggest you talk to maybe 30, 40 of your customers to see what's going on, but particularly those that you think you need to approach in the near future for additional sales, upselling, but in general, just to see how they're doing, to make sure that you can rely on ongoing revenue from them, particularly if they're in some form of subscription with you, or ongoing renewable contract. You want to make sure they're okay. But set these objectives and map them out over a timeline, month by month by month, and do this in a conservative way, as I'm sure you always do, to calculate the number of customers you're going to have per month. So setting this out over a timeline is a very important thing to do. You're going to spread all of this understanding out over the course of the year, but I suggest you update this. Let me say it this way. You pay attention mainly of the next 2-3 months, 3 maybe, and that you do another update 3 months down the road for future quarters. So you keep refreshing your estimate on the number of customers, the amount of revenue you hope to bring into the company. But when you estimate out in the future here, what your success is going to be in achieving these sales goals is you map out what your sales cycle is probably in an Excel spreadsheet where you're going to estimate the number of qualified leads you're going to be looking at, and what that timeline will look like. The sales cycle is from the very time you first encounter a potential customer all the way to the point in time where they sign a contract. That's the sales cycle and the process you go through in order to get a prospect closed as a bona fide sales. So with this sales cycles, you then take into account your closure rates and things like that help you estimate, well, if I get in this many leads, how many are going to be qualified, how many are going to drop out through the course of the sales cycle, and on the other end of it, what's my closure rate? What percentage of customers am I going to close? So you can get all of this in much more detail in this plan video in this series, but these are the kinds of things you really got to pay attention to, and you need to do it now. So the most very important thing about your plan is, finally, have good estimates, but close deals. Close a lot of deals. The second P is process. Now, you should have a really good, kind of rigorous sales process. It's a reflection of what goes on during the sales cycle, how you go about this. So I'm going to assume for a minute we're going to be working on qualified leads and only qualified leads. Probably done by marketing, but it may have been done by people within the sales group. Depending on the size of the company's lead qualification or lead generation and qualification occurs in lots of different ways. But when you have a qualified lead, the first thing you're going to do is make contact with them and set up a sales meeting, of course. And you're going to get yourself prepared for that. You're going to put your sales presentation together. You're going to tailor it as best you can to what you think the needs are of this customer you're about to approach. And you have the meeting. And you do all the right things. After introductions, you go through a process of having them talk to you more about what their needs are, so you can listen before you shoot off your mouth in your sales pitch. So you listen to the answers to some of the questions that you start with, so that you understand in the moment what their needs are and the implications of them. And then you get into how you can help them. In the course of that, you handle objections, you handle, particularly those that are having to do with competitors that they may be considering, or objections about what you're offering, or just plain questions that further their understanding. Once you got them to a point where they seem interested, you ask them, is this something you need to go forward with? You get their sense of urgency. You then offer to provide them a proposal. You just say, I'd love to present you a proposal, have it to you in 4 days or whatever, but quick. And you send it to them, and you simply say, look, I'll let you take a look at this for the next week. I'll contact you next Friday and see what you think and answer your questions. But if you have any before then, all that sort of thing, then you follow up. So you follow up, answer questions, and you're in a negotiation process. At the end of it all, you try to close a deal, sign a sales agreement, sales contract, or they reject you and you chalk it up as a loss. And don't lose track of them, though, because they may come back, or you may have further opportunities in the future. All my point is, and we go into it more detailed in the plan video, is have a process. Know what you're doing. The third P is presence. And what I mean by that is you have a presence that is presentable to the general public, but most importantly to your potential customers, your current customers, your investors, your partners, and anyone else that you're doing business with in any way. The first and obvious instantiation of presence is your website. So make sure it's well done. And that when people come there, particularly in the marketing process where they're trying to check you out after some marketing person contacted them and to see if they're interested, they come to your website and you got to pass muster. It's got to look good. You got to reflect that you have a solution to what they need. You should have a presence on social media, in the appropriate social media channels, of course, that where your customers mainly are hanging out, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or plain old Twitter or anything else. That's where you got to have a presence. They got to hear what you think, see what you think, watch you on video saying what you think about things. You should have email campaigns that simply continue to nurture relationships with people, many of whom could be referral sources for you. So email campaigns are not dead. Don't let anybody tell you that. Email campaigns are very much alive, and they're a very effective form of ongoing communications with people you know, in hopes that they will lead you to people you have yet to know by referral. To manage all this, you need CRM tools, customer relationship management tools. You know the catch names. HubSpot, Salesforce.com is the premier one. Agile's another one. That's the one I use. But here's a tool that manages the process, the whole sales process, and the marketing process, both, quite frankly, and the services process, which we're not talking about here today. But you can automate a lot of the things that are going to go on in the sales process, step by step, and or in the marketing qualification process. Have a CRM that has the tools, and quite frankly, they're quite easy to use. And it helps you manage the tasks. You know, when you're due to get something done or follow up with somebody, you can use the task management capabilities of these tools. So get a CRM. It's going to be well worth your while. Of course, all of your sales work is supported by collateral material. These are white papers and case studies and spec sheets, things like that, promotions. Often this is written material, but it's also can be provided online via your website, or during any email campaign you can forward certain collateral information. So whatever it is, though, keep it up to date and make sure that you know the status of all this collateral material. So those are the 3 Ps. And we talk much more about it in the plan video that is available to you in the Winning Through Excellence in Sales. So my urging is for you to do what? Have a plan. And if there's any doubt in your mind, have a plan. I've got to learn how to put over the correct shoulder. Have a plan. So I'm going to close out now. I got a note from somebody here. Thank you very much. The broadcast is working fine. Thumbs up. I'm going to post this on Facebook later, but I'll edit out the big blank middle where I lost my computer. Sorry for the confusion. Honest to God, I've done a lot of these, and that has never happened to me, so I was stunned. So you have a great day. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.